Hello, we are working on Chapter 3, Lesson 5, Writing and Graphing Equations of Lines. So which of the following are lines on this screen? We know that a line is straight and goes on forever. On these four equations, we know that number 1 is a line because x and y both have a power of 1. We know that 2 is not a line because it is x squared. That one would be a U-shaped parabola. X divided by 5, we could rewrite that as 1/5 x. So that would be equals y. That is also a line. And x times y equals 6. If I get y by itself, I'm going to divide both sides. Y equals 6 over x. That one is not a line. So 1 and 3 are lines. Which of these is in slope-intercept form? Well, we know that the y-intercept is the vertical axis, and we know that that is 4. So we can rule out B right away, knowing that that does not have a y-intercept of 4. This one has a y-intercept of 2. We can also rule out D right away. It also has a y-intercept of 2. The next thing that we have to look at is the slope. I am going down and to the right, which means I have a negative slope. Both A and C have a negative slope. One says 2 for a slope, which is 2 over 1. One says 1/2. So the rise is on top, the run is on the bottom. I'm going down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So that's a -2 for a rise and a run of 1, which gives us A for a final answer. Remember that the vertical value is on top and the horizontal value is on bottom. And I can use any of the points on my graph that cross exactly at a coordinate and one of those nice numbers that we want to work with. Write an equation for each. Go ahead and hit pause here and try to write the equation for each one. We can see on this one it is a vertical line. So the y is changing all of the time, but the x is staying constant. And notice it is 1 halfway between the number 1 and 2. So this is x equals, because x is the one that does not change, x equals 1.5. This line, the slope, has a change in y that is any number divided by no run. So this is an undefined slope. We talked about that in lesson 3.4. Here, the y value stays constant. With y value staying constant, y equals 4. Whoops, not x, 4. This one has a run, but not a rise. The rise is 0. So rise over run, 0 divided by some number will equal 0 for the slope. Write an equation for the line that passes through the point -1, 1 that is parallel to line 2x minus 3. Well, what we can pull from this equation, if it's parallel, it has to have the same slope. So we know that our slope is going to be 2. So we know y equals 2x plus b. I don't know what b is. I do know a y value, and I do know an x value. So plugging that back into our equation, I can find b by plugging those numbers in. 1 equals 2 times -1 plus b. How do I get rid of a -2? I'm going to add it to both sides. So 3 equals b. Y equals 2 is my slope, because it has to be parallel, x plus my b value, my y-intercept of 3. So if we take off this picture over here, we can see parallel, they have the same slope, and our new line goes through -1, 1, and it has a y-intercept of 3. So we got the right answer. Third example, perpendicular. We learned in Chapter 3, Lesson 4, that they're perpendicular, the slopes have to multiply to -1. So -2 times what equals -1? Well, how do I get rid of multiplication? Division. So our new slope is going to be negative divided by negative, or a positive 1/2. That is our slope that will be perpendicular. Again, I know the point of 2 and 3, so I'm going to plug those into my equation. 3 is the y value, equals my new slope, 1/2, and my x value is 2 plus my b, my y-intercept. I don't know that. When I multiply 1/2 and 2, I get 1. 3 equals 1 plus b. Minusing 1 from both sides, I get 2 equals b. This tells me my y-intercept. So the equation for my new line has a slope of positive 1/2 and a y-intercept of 2. So y equals 1/2 x plus 2. That's what they got right here. Just about finished here. How can I find the y-intercept? Well, if I know the y-intercept in equation in standard form, I know the y-intercept is here, x equals 0 on that line. So if I plug in 0, 3 times 0 plus 4y equals 12. What times 4 equals 12? Because this part becomes 0. So I know that 4 times 3 equals 12. So my y-intercept equals 3. I can do the same for my x-intercept. For the x-intercept, I know that y equals 0. So 3x plus 4 times 0 equals 12. 3 times what equals 12? I know that that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my x-intercept, there's my y-intercept. It makes it really easy to graph a line when I have x and y on the same side. We call this the intercept method because I've graphed both the y and the x-intercept. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Hit pause now. As you can see, when I plug in y equals 0, I get 6 as the x-intercept, so I've graphed that on the x-axis, the horizontal axis. For the y-intercept, that's when x equals 0, so I plug that in, and I can see that the y-intercept is 2 because 9 times 2 equals 18. I've graphed that on the vertical axis, and we have our line graphed, again using the intercept method. What is the x-intercept and the y-intercept? And then please write this in standard form. Here we can see that the y-intercept, the vertical intercept, is at 4, and our horizontal intercept is at 2. Nicely to graph, that's not a good word. Oh well. Y-intercept is 4, x-intercept is 2. What is the independent and the dependent variable? Pause here to finish this word problem. To make the flat fee of $15, we would have to run at least 4 DVDs a month to make the internet company worthwhile, a better buy. 1 DVD costs $4, 2 DVDs cost $8, 3 is $12, 4 is $16. That's above our $15. So, in conclusion, we have forms, standard form, slope-intercept, point-slope, and to intercept form. We will not focus on this one, but I do want you to be familiar with the 3 types of lines.